Good evening and welcome back to the Variable Y Minute. This is your host, the Variable Y. I want to thank you all so much for joining me tonight. A couple of reasons why I enjoy doing this show is number one, it's my show, so I can pretty much do it however I want. And with that being said, it gives me an opportunity to really go down some paths that I think are important. So I think I was going to talk about maybe some football or, maybe some the big games this weekend, these game of the century, another Alabama LSU game that we've seen a zillion times before and has never lived up to the hype. The one in 2011 has to be the most boring game I've ever watched in my life. I would rather watch my old high school, and they're not even in high school anymore. I'd rather watch them play football than to see that game again. If I have to watch a game like that again, then I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something very violent to myself. Anywho, but then I started listening to some of the chatter, and I really wanted to come on and just address something that I think is pretty, I don't want to say ignorant, but I think it's just a little disingenuous. And it's this notion of, what's it called? Load management in the NBA. So I've heard people talking, and people are very upset about load management in the NBA. And oh my gosh, guys played 82 games back when I was growing up, and Jordan never did this, and Pippen never did this, and Barkley, and da 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 da. I understand. I really, really do. Like, I grew up watching Jordan, Pippen, Barkley, Rodman, David Robinson, Karl Malone, John Stockton. I grew up watching those guys. Some of my favorite players of all time are those guys. Barkley is one of my favorite players. Jordan, obviously. The Mailman, obviously. The Admiral, obviously. Hakeem Olajuwon. Some of my absolute favorite players come from this generation. But something's changed in the NBA, and I think it's time we all accept it. Guys are going to take time off during the regular season. And guess what? It's okay. No one cares. Like, not saying that the regular season is not important, because it is a complete body of work that shows exactly how successful you were throughout the 82 game season. But a couple of things we may need to consider here. Number one, the season may just be too dang on long. Has anybody thought about that? I'm sure some people have. But when it comes to, hey, why don't we shorten the games maybe by 20? All these owners who are going to sit here and say they have a problem with all this load management, which they really don't, because I don't hear them crying about it now, then they're not going to step up and say, well, hey, my guys are getting hurt, so we need to cut these games short. There's plenty of data out there that shows that playing the rigors of an 82 game season is not good for the wear and tear of the players. So doing it like that, it's not going to happen like that anymore. Those days are gone. Like, there are still guys who play 82, and we should applaud them for doing such. But if you got these high profile guys who already have so much wear and tear on their bodies anyway, if they want to take some days off in October, November, December, who cares? And I hear people talk about, well, if I took my kid down and blah blah blah, and I'd be upset. You're taking your kid to an NBA basketball game. If that's not good enough, then you and your sorry kids stay at home. Don't nobody care. Like, give me an opportunity to go down there and watch some scrubs play against the Atlanta Hawks, so I can get my tickets for a lot less than they're selling them now. I don't care about you and your children. You don't like it? Stay at home. You got a TV, you got a computer, you got a phone. Just watch the stupid game on the phone, or don't watch the damn game. No one cares. Shut up. And here's another thing. That's just point one. Point two is this right here. So let's say your favorite player, I don't know, we'll talk about the guy who's in the news right now. Let's say Kawhi Leonard. Let's say he plays all 82 games, and then he rolls his ankle and he's out for the playoffs. You remember that happened a couple of years ago? Do you think that San Antonio would rather have had him out load management and then won a championship. Guess what happened last year? He played 60 games. Guess what he did last year? He won a championship and he looked incredible doing such. And there were times where he looked like he was laboring because his knees or his ankles, because he's got all this wear and tear on his body. Think about LeBron James last year. You think that game where LeBron pretty much popped his groin and he cost the Lakers the rest of their season? You think any of those Lakers would have said, you know what, LeBron, I would much rather you have sat out 25, hell, I'd much rather you sat out 30 games if you would have come back towards the end of the season and you would have been fresh and then we could have made the playoffs and then you would have made a long run in the playoffs. My teams don't get players like this, trust me. But if they did, low manage the hell out of those guys. I want you here in April, May, and June. I'm cool with November, December, and January. And it would kind of suck if my son said, "Hey, Dad, I want to go see, Kawhi Leonard." And Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing that night. But you know what I would say? I would say, well, son, Kawhi's not going to play tonight, but guess who else we got to see? We get to see Patrick Beverly. We get to see Lou Williams. And of course, he barely knows who those guys are, but they're still NBA basketball players. And they're still darn good players. And he gets to go see a professional basketball game. And damn it, that's a gift. Everybody doesn't get to do that. Every city doesn't have basketball. So why don't you all just shut up, let these guys do their load management? Because in April, in May, in June, I won't hear any of you complaining about how many games they missed. I'll just hear all of you talking about how awesome it is to see these guys. They're the best at what they do. These guys are the greatest athletes in the world, and yada, 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 yada. I won't hear any of this other crap about the fact that they have to play all 82 games. So my public service announcement for you tonight is to shut the hell up, let these guys do what they do, and just enjoy them while we got them. These guys don't grow on trees. They're not going to be here forever. So let's just enjoy them while we got them. And that's the Variable Y Minute for tonight, people. I thank you so much for joining me. I just ask that if you are going to follow, please follow the show on Instagram at the Variable. I don't even know what it is anymore. I think it is Variable Y. It's Variable Y. It's just Variable Y altogether. Or you can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on YouTube. You can check out the Variable Y YouTube channel. It's the Variable Y Minute. Please just like and subscribe and follow and do all that jazz. Pretty new to this, so I don't know how this all works. But again, I thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a great night. If you have any suggestions, anything you want to leave me a comment. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night, guys.